So my love for reading and knowledge started when I used to raid my father's bookshelf in our basement. I used to live in the downstairs bedroom of our house, and my father had all of these old books, The Art of War, and he had a collector's edition on the Aliens movie and how it was made. But my favorite book was a collection of ninja stories, and these ninja stories were deeply rooted in very true Japanese traditions. And my favorite one was of a young boy who, the local warlord comes to his town, and the warlord lines up all the men in the town and inspects all of the men, and then selects the boy's father. And the boy's father steps forward, and the boy thinks that his father is going to become one of the warlord's knights or samurai. Instead, what the warlord does is have carnal relations with the boy's father in front of the town to satisfy his own sexual gratification. Now, the boy is distraught by this and wants revenge for his father, and the boy plans to assassinate the warlord by infiltrating the warlord's harem, if you will. So what the young boy does is go to a local prostitute and contracts syphilis. He then gussies himself up, makes himself look as pretty as possible, and waits for the warlord to come back to his town. This time the boy lines up with all the men, and the young, or it's not the young boy, but the old warlord selects the young boy and obviously intends to have carnal relations with him. Before that occurs, later that night in the warlord's tent, the young boy attempts to pull out a dagger and kill the warlord. After they've had carnal relations. And the young boy tries to kill the warlord. The warlord snaps his hand and thinks how foolish this young boy is for trying to have killed him. And that's when the young boy informs him that he has infected himself with syphilis, for which there was no cure at the time. And the warlord is forced to die. And the moral of that story was, you can only defeat your enemy when you are willing to die yourself. I wish I made that up. That was a true story I read in a made-up book about Japanese culture. Anyway, the point is, you have to be willing to die yourself to get enemies killed. And that brings us to an OG build, something only that, the PD2 veterans and people who really have good game knowledge know about, which is Poison Dagger. So this is Power Ranking Episode 17, Poison Dagger, guys. So let's start with single target. Well, your main attacking skill is Poison Dagger, and it's bumped by a Bramble and a 3-piece Strang set, which gives you negative 25% poison res. I'm using a Crown of Ages for more negative poison res with the facets. Now, the point is you have so many facets that when you die, you put out Poison Nova, and that hurts everything in the room. So when you charge in and die, everything in the room dies with you. So eventually, I'm not very good at this, but I think someone who has more skill and game knowledge really can pump this build to just the top echelons of everything. 10 out of 10 on single target. AoE. So again, this build is really predicated on how fast you can die and reload into your game. I'm not very good at that, so I could probably speed that up and do some things better. So if someone is really good at, exiting out after they die and reloading, you can get so many things cleared really, really, really fast. It really pushes that upper echelon into game breaking almost. 10 out of 10 on AoE. So safety. Well, we're not trying to be safe with this build because we're trying to die. You're just trying to stab things in the face and go. So dying is not really an issue here. In that case, we can't even rank safety. It's actually off the charts. It's not even just a 10 out of 10. It's like an X out of 10. It's a exponential equation into infinity, which just makes this build, crazy, crazy good. So infinity out of 10. Now, Ubers. Ubers is interesting because you can't die in Ubers and then reload into the game. Once you're dead, it's over. So it does unfortunately get a 0 out of 10 on Ubers. But I think for style points, we have to give it a 10 out of 10. And I don't really know how anyone could really disagree with that. So, but even then, with a 0 out of 10, we have an infinity out of 10 on safety. So it's still really, really good. So gearing ease. Well, you can really wear any gear you want as long as you have a couple poison facets, and those are really cheap. Really, really cheap. So, again, I think this is going to be a 10 out of 10 because you can just gear this with just a single poison facet. The more you have, the better. I don't want to, break anyone's budget and say you have to get 5 or 6 poison facets or anything. But, it would help out. So 10 out of 10 on gearing ease and play style. Well, it doesn't take a whole lot of skill. You do have to sort of position yourself a little bit so that your poison nova spreads effectively when you do die. But that's not terribly difficult. And I just practiced for, 17, 18 hours and got it to kind of this point here. So it's a really good build for that. So overall, that brings us to a total score of infinity out of 10, which I think we can safely say is like the best. If anything, it's just infinity. It's way over 10. So that's our new tops. And if you guys want my poison dagger build, I'm not very good at the game, so just ask around the discords and the subreddits and the forums about how you build poison dagger. People will tell you it's not good. That's just an intro question. They just tell it to all the new players because they don't want so many people playing it that it breaks the game. But if you ask long enough and hard enough, they will give you the secrets of poison dagger. I'm probably in trouble for explaining it to you right now and telling you how it works, but I care about you guys that much. So even though I'm not very good at this game and I really don't know what I'm doing, I felt like I needed to let you know about this build. So I'll see you guys next time.